You ready? All right. Welcome back.
Shit, this is already recording.
Yeah. Welcome back. Okay, so we just finished doing the vegan fudge cake video at setting. So I thought do a quick t-shirt change so I don't get the videos confused. But
I've done a costume change, so continuity.
I just like to do it just because when I look at the videos online, I know what t-shirt it's for, what recipe
Were
kind of.
you wearing that? Oh no, you were wearing the grey.
No, the grey, yeah. Anyway, so this recipe, a lot of people have asked for this one because I fucked around with like some ingredients for bread because I want.
Yeast.
Huh?
Is it because I had yeast?
No, it's just because I mean, you've been making a lot of sourdough, and I always thought, why can't you make bread with like wheat flour? Does it need rocking? Because like wheat flour is so high in protein, and it is in bread anyway.
But weren't you
But people don't make
flour in your bread?
No. So all these recipes online, it's all like almond flour, coconut flour, LSA mix, blah blah blah, all this bullshit. So I'm like, why not like use wheat flour? Yeah. So
You need to explain that because I didn't get it. Because my flour that I use for my sourdough is flour.
So flour
which is made from wheat.
Yeah, so flour and vital wheat flour is different. So from what I understand, don't quote me on this, I'm not an expert, but from what I understand, the gluten wheat flour is in actual normal flour, but it's just separated form. So this is the gluten wheat flour. So this is basically separated from normal flour and you just get that. This is the protein. So wheat flour is just the protein.
So they extract the wheat out of the flour.
Yeah,
That's
because
just
the
wheat.
Yeah, so the wheat flour is what gives it like the body to wheat.
Okay.
Like gives it like the firmness and the protein.
Which is, I don't know if ironic is the right word, but it tastes like gluten. This bread tastes like actual gluten-free bread. And it's full of gluten.
Yeah, and it's all gluten.
Okay.
Yeah. But I love it because it's high protein. So if you're like celiac, don't eat this.
100% don't eat this. Yeah.
But I can. I'm not celiac, so and I love it. It's high protein, low carbs.
Yeah.
All
of these other breads, how many have you done on here? Have you done both?
I've done one.
So that one that I watched before.
Yeah.
And you said it was like gluten-free bread?
Yeah.
No. This is the closest to bread that you will eat.
Gluten-free tasting.
That it tastes, you know,
the other bread.
Yeah, like it looks like bread. It springs like bread.
I mean, they saw the Insta story and the post. I took a photo of it on my Instagram the other day, and it looks like bread.
Like I'd be happy with that.
Yeah, and then when you actually toast it and put butter on it, it's just like it's bread. It's like
I don't know why you never did this before.
I don't know why either. But anyway, this is the recipe. I want to show you guys now. It's so simple. It's basically 4 ingredients. All right. So.
Did you get my yeast?
Yeah, it's here.
Oh.
No, it's my yeast.
Oh, have you got yeast?
Yeah, I was in my spice cabinet. I don't know. Oh fuck. How do I do this? All right. So, bitch. All right. So I'm going to do 2 cups of flour. You don't need to preheat your oven for this yet because you're gonna. That's heaped. That's fine. It's fine. You don't need to preheat your oven because is that better for you? Is it a bit too much?
It needs to be precise for bread.
It does not. It does not.
On the 4th one, don't do it too much.
It does not. My bread doesn't have to be precise. Nothing of mine has to be precise, Jess. What was I saying?
Could you make a starter out of this?
I don't know, but that's something we can explore.
Because then you can make like a sourdough version of it.
You probably could. Right, and then to that I'm going to add, I say about 50 grams. I'm going to actually measure it. So chickpea flour. So we done our I keep calling it seitan. Our gluten flour. So vital wheat gluten. Vital wheat flour, sorry. And then chickpea flour, which I don't even think you need this to be honest, but I do it anyway. So
you should try it without.
We can.
Let's not tempt the fakes.
So about 70 grams. 70 grams of that. And then you put dried yeast.
See, this is making me anxious.
Why?
There's just no measurements, and bread needs to be.
You don't. For your bread, maybe sourdough you probably do. But for this, I don't know how I do it. I just, I don't know
how are they
how
going to be able to do this?
What do you mean? So that's two teaspoons of yeast.
Is it?
So basically, it's 2 cups of, what the fuck? I just said it. It's true.
This gives me anxiety. I need to know exactly.
This is the exact. I fucking said it. So 2 cups of white wheat flour.
2 heaped cups of.
It doesn't matter if it's a little bit less, whatever. It's fine. About 70 grams of chickpea flour.
Did you measure that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
And 2 teaspoons of yeast. That's literally
70
it.
grams is 5 tablespoons.
Thank you. And a pinch of salt. 2 teaspoons, you reckon? 2 teaspoons of salt.
Whatever you will think.
Yeah.
That's it.
That's it. That's
And then
literally
water.
it. And then water. So I did like warm water because it's like activates the yeast.
I do warm water.
I'm just gonna like mix it with this first.
I do kettle water, but anyway, because I'm a bit.
She's organic. Organic, girl. Organic. So just mix it. Are you moist?
Little.
This batter's
I'm a
looking
big
a bit
fan
moist.
of making bread these days.
I know you've been doing so good, Jack.
Do you fold?
I will in a sec. I just don't want to mess up my fingers.
Do you let it rise? Like, what did you do last time?
I let it rise. How full was this? It was about 500. 500 mils.
500? I do way less.
Nah, with gluten, the wheat flour.
I do 500. Sorry, with mine. No, sorry.
So with I like this dough to be a bit more wet because if it's not, being like the white wheat flour can be a bit rubbery and you can't really work it. So I find that if I add more water, it's a little more like, it binds together. Like, you know when it gets rubbery otherwise, like when you're kneading it, it literally doesn't like stick to each other, like stick to itself. Like it holds its shape and just doesn't like, I don't know, it's just rubbery. But if I add a little bit, it's probably a bit watery, but it's fine. The more,
chuck in some more flour?
no, because the more you knead it, the more it'll kind of thicken. Dry up, you can if you want, but
tell me if you want me to add
yeah,
anything.
I think it's fine. Like, so it's thickening. But yeah, that's the other important. This is why I don't fuck up my recipes because I know how to do it. So with water, I don't add it all at once. I do it.
You just added it all at once, didn't you?
No, I did a little bit, mixed it in, then did a little bit, mixed it in.
See, normal people just have recipes, yeah? And they just follow a recipe.
Has my cooking ever been shit? Have I ever fucked up?
No, I don't do 500, sorry. I do 500 of flour. I do 380 of water.
This is her using a recipe and she still can't fucking remember what she said.
Excuse, no, I just do it second nature. No, sorry. It's 500 flour, 380 water. That looks too watery to me.
It is a little bit watery. I probably could add a bit more in there.
Can I put more flour just to make me happy?
I don't know if I want to.
No? Should you preheat the oven?
No, because
no,
don't preheat the oven because we're going to let it. That's what I was saying before. Don't preheat the oven in this at the moment, just because we are going to let it sit for like a good hour to rise. Maybe a little bit more.
Because there's yeast in it.
Yeah.
This is dangerous.
You probably don't
dangerous.
You probably don't need more actually. Put a little bit, tiny bit.
Un poco?
Yeah.
Un poco más. Where is your little doodad?
Oh, I don't know if I want to.
Where's the doodad?
Just.
Aren't your hands wet?
Not this one.
Okay. Are you there?
No, you can close it.
Sure.
Alright. I'm just gonna put it here to knead. Do you see how
It's very
it's springy.
Yeah, it's gluten-free-ish.
Like it looks like rubber. Looks like lac.
Yeah.
But if I didn't add enough water, like if I let it dry, it wouldn't be able to like mold itself like that. See how I'm pushing it in and it kind of sticks?
Yeah.
See? Whereas normally,
Oh,
gluten, when I make seitan, if I fold it in like that, this bit literally just comes back out.
Oh, okay.
And you don't want to knead it heaps either, because then, and then once it's like that, what I do, I just do it like this. That was Freddy. That was Freddy. I didn't fart.
Un pedito con patatas.
Un pedo con patatas.
Un pedo.
Un pedo. ¡Qué lindo!
Qué guapo.
¡Qué guapo!
Qué cariño. Hey.
Okay.
Do you put it back in and let it rise though?
So basically like that. That's probably still a little bit wet.
Like?
I feel like it's a little bit wet still.
Do you want more flour?
Nah. I'm gonna try something different.
Okay.
No, that's good. That's literally what I did. I'm probably may put more of that in there, but that's fine. Alright. All I do, put it back in the mixing bowl, leave it like that, cover it, and then put it somewhere warm. So I normally have the heater on and I put it on top of the heater. And I'll let it sit for like an hour for it to rise. But, let me just wash my hands. So we'll leave that for an hour. It'll like basically double in size almost. Almost.
And then what? Do you just knead it and put it in the oven?
No, don't need it. Once it rises, we'll come back and I'll show you. Hey, hey. Okay, so it's been resting. So I've got a little portable heater here and it's been resting on top of that. So it's still kind of warm underneath. I'd say it's been resting for about over an hour. I'd say over an hour. And, oh, look, it's still bubbling. So basically, it was in that stainless steel bowl, but before I switched the after I switched the camera off, I actually just put it into this glass bowl. I greased it, and then I just put it into this dish with the lid. But it basically was like that when I got back. That's how much it's risen. So I'm just gonna push that in like that. And this doesn't stick. It's not gonna stick to the bowl. For some reason, the wheat flour doesn't really stick that much, so that's fine. Okay, I'm a little bit excited for this. It's never risen this much. Okay. Alright, so so many air bubbles. Alright, I've got the oven preheating for 180, so I'm just gonna pop it in and then leave it in there for about 45. But yeah, we'll come back and have a look as well when it's kind of done. So yeah, I'll see you in about 45 minutes. Okay, are you excited? Alright, so it's basically been in the oven for about just under an hour, about 45-50 minutes. I took it out, I let it cool, and I took it out of the pan and cut it. And it looks like this. I'm going to show you that later, that's my toast. But this is the bread, and then when you cut it, it looks like that. But look how pretty it is. I'm just so proud of this. Look at that. Look how pretty. It's bread, guys, it's bread. It's actual bread. Now, I did some calculations. This is probably actually less because I forgot. I normally put in nutritional yeast for a bit of flavor, but I forgot with this one. So I believe the macros on this were... I'm sure this recipe has to exist somewhere. Like, I don't think I created it. I couldn't have, right? But I just don't know why people wouldn't do this. Now, just to be honest, it is a bit spongy because I mean it's pure protein, it's gluten, it's all gluten. So it is a little bit spongy obviously, but I wouldn't have it fresh. See, because it's like, you've got a bit of, like it's bread, but it's spongy. But toasted is insane. So I don't have it fresh. I think fresh can be a bit too spongy. But if you slice it and put it in a toaster and then butter it like this, it tastes amazing. And this one I did just before, so I'm gonna eat it so you can hear the crunch. But this is what it looks like. And then, I've literally been eating this bread in the morning for the last 2 mornings. And it doesn't even throw me off my macros. It's actually almost like having a protein shake, but obviously protein shakes have higher protein amount, but also more carbs, so I'm more fat. This is so good. I probably did do this one a little too watery, but I think it worked. Jess actually said that she likes this one better. Like, she laughed at the start because she saw it was spongy. But after I toasted it, and then she tried it as a toast with the butter, she actually said, I actually like it better than the other ones that I made. So, I don't know. I love it. I mean, why not? Like, it looks like bread. It tastes like bread once it's toasted. Why would you? Why would you have normal bread? Especially if you're like counting macros and things like that. Good way to be. But if you can't have gluten, look away. Don't even bother with this because it's all gluten. It's basically gluten. So I looked up how vital wheat flour is, what it is basically. So it's basically the gluten that's extracted from the flour. That's all it is. It's just pure gluten. Just pure gluten. Protein. But anyway, thanks for watching. And I look forward to the next one. Bye.